Today I would like to explore various aspects of Purim, particularly the reading of Megillas Esther, which tells the story of this miraculous holiday. The Megillah recounts how Haman plotted to annihilate the Jewish people across all 127 provinces of the Persian Median Empire. Through the intervention of Mordechai and Queen Esther, Hashem thwarted Haman's plan. The Jewish people defended themselves, overcame their enemies, and ultimately secured their freedom. This victory paved the way for the Jews' return from the Babylonian exile to the land of Israel and the rebuilding of the second Beis HaMikdash. The story was initially written in Igaros, long letters, and distributed among the people, though these documents were eventually lost. The men of the Great Assembly, a group of scholars and prophets including, according to Rashi, Chagai, Zechariah, Malachi, and Mordechai, were, as set forth in the Gemara Baba Basra 15, responsible for formally writing Megillas Esther. Before the Megillah is read in Shul, it is fully unrolled and laid out on the Shulchan to resemble the reading of an Igeres, a letter. Before the reading begins, 3 brachos are recited. The first blessing is, "Blessed are you, Hashem, who has sanctified us with his commandments and commanded us concerning the reading of the Megillah." This bracha is mentioned in Maseches Sofrim, chapter 14, which applies it to all 5 Megillos, Esther, Eicha, Koheles, Shir Hashirim, and Rus. The Magen Avram Shulchan Aruch Arachaim 490 states that this bracha is recited before reading all of the Megillas except Koheles, because the sages debated whether to include Koheles in the Kisvei HaKodesh, the holy writings. However, the Vilna Gaon followed the opinion of the Rambam, who considered Koheles part of the Kisvei HaKodesh, and he held that all 5 Megillas required a blessing. Despite this, the widely accepted custom, as recorded by the Beis Yosef and the Ramah, is to say the bracha only before reading Megillas Esther. The Pesikta Minei Ephraim states that the text of the first bracha is Al Mikra Megillas Esther. This seems to be in accordance with the position that a bracha is required before reading all 5 Megillos, and therefore specificity as to which Megillah is being read is required. However, since the prevailing custom is not to require bracha for the other Megillos, we don't require that they be read from a klaf. We simply say Al Mikra Megillah before reading Megillas Esther. Some commentators suggest that Al Mikra Megillah does not just mean concerning the reading of the Megillah, but also concerning gathering for the Megillah. The Ramban in Pashas Emor states that Shabbos and Yantov are called Mikra'e Kodesh because Jews must assemble in shul for prayer and Hallel. Similarly, the Ir Mifsar explains that Mikra Megillah means Jews must gather to publicize the miracle, Persumei Nisa, by reading the Megillah publicly. The Megillah is read twice, once at night and once in the morning. However, contrary to popular belief, the morning reading is the primary obligation. The entire celebration of Purim takes place during the day, for the Megillah states these days are recalled and observed. Additionally, miracles are celebrated at the same time that they occurred. The exodus from Egypt began at night, so we conduct the Pesach Seder at night. But the main miracle of Purim occurred during the day. This is when the Jews fought and defeated their enemies. Just like the mitzvahs of shofar and lulav must be performed during the day, so too must the mitzvahs of Purim. The nighttime Megillah reading was added later by a decree of the sages. The second bracha before Megillah is, "Blessed are you, Hashem, who performed miracles for our forefathers in those days at this time." The Gemara in Brachas 54 teaches that a person must thank Hashem when visiting a place where a miracle occurred. The She'iltos Vayishlach states, if a specific place is mentioned in the Torah, the blessing should be recited only at that place. If the date is specified, the blessing is recited when the date arrives. Thus, when referencing a place, we say b'makom hazeh, in this place. When referencing time, we say bazman hazeh, at this time. According to the Maharsha and Brachas, for a miracle that occurred to the Jewish people, place or time is not important. It's the Jewish people themselves. We are thanking Hashem, for without his miracles, we would not exist today. The third blessing before the Megillah is the Shechianu. Blessed are you, Hashem, who has granted us life, sustained us, and enabled us to reach this time. Commentators explain that the Shechianu that we recite at night is for the day of Yontif, for the holiday itself. It's similar to the Shechianu that we make the night of Yom Kippur after Kol Nidre. Therefore, Rav Yaakov Emtim states in his Sefer Morok Sia, if one doesn't have a Megillah to read or cannot hear the Megillah, he can nevertheless say the bracha of Shechianu at night. Although we have already recited the Shechianu at night, we recite it again when we read the Megillah in the morning. The Magen Avram, citing the Shalach HaKodesh, explains that the Shechianu applies to all the mitzvahs of Purim, not only reading the Megillah, but also to the Suda, the festive meal, Mishloach Manos, sending gifts of food, and Matanos Le'avyanim, giving charity to the poor. Possibly, therefore, we don't say a separate bracha for each of these mitzvahs, as the Maras Chayas explains, because each is an integral part of the mitzvah of celebrating Purim. Before reading the Megillah, we recite the 3 enumerated brachas. Upon completing the Megillah, there is another bracha. This is in accordance with the Or Zarua, who states that every mitzvah that is given expression by reciting or reading, like Kriyas HaTorah, Haftorah, Hallel, and Megillah, requires a bracha before and one after. After the Megillah, we say, "Blessed is Hashem, who fights our battles, judges our claims, gets revenge for us, punishes our tormentors for us, and pays back our enemies. Blessed are you, Hashem, who punishes all their foes for the sake of his people Israel. He is the God that saves." The Avudraham notes that this blessing contains 5 phrases, each alluding to a hero who fought against Amalek. Who fights our battles refers to Yoshua. Who judges our claims to Ehud ben Gera. Who takes revenge for us, Gidon. Who punishes our oppressors is Shaul HaMelech. Who repays our enemies is a reference to David HaMelech. The final part of the bracha, who punishes all their foes for the sake of his people Israel, is referencing the miracle of Mordechai and Esther. And finally, he is the God that saves, is our prayer for the future, for the days of Mashiach. There is an ancient piyut, a liturgical poem, Asher Heini, that we say after the last bracha. The Agos Maimoni in the Laws of Megillah, chapter 1, and also in the Tanya Rabbasi 40, cite this. It is written in an acrostic based on the Aleph Beis. The lines of Shoshanas Yaakov and Shuasam Hayisol HaNetzach are part of this piyut. They constitute the shin and the tuf. The custom is that the entire Asher Heini is recited at night. In the morning, we start with Shoshanas Yaakov, in which we express, "Cursed is Haman, blessed is Mordechai, cursed is Zeresh, blessed is Esther," also the mention of Chavona for good. In the piyut for Parshas Zachar last Shabbos, it is written, "If all of the holidays are annulled, Purim will always remain. It will never be annulled." This quote is based on the Medrash Shochar Tov. However, it is difficult to understand who, God forbid, would annul the holidays. To possibly understand this, one needs to distinguish between Purim and all the other holidays. All the other holidays are celebrated to commemorate the occurrence of open miracles, supernatural events that undoubtedly were at the hand of Hashem. Pesach, the exodus from Egypt and the splitting of the sea. Shavuos, the spectacle at Har Sinai. Sukkot, the clouds of glory. However, the miracles of Purim were hidden, presented and veiled within what could be perceived as a natural occurrence of events. The Midrash and the Piyut are informing us that the way Hashem intervenes in the world has changed. The holidays remembering open miracles will certainly remain and not be annulled. However, there will not be new holidays like these, as patently obvious miracles would no longer occur. Instead, throughout our Gullus, we will only have Purim-like miracles. Hashem will seem hidden to most, but He is indeed controlling everything behind the scenes. Today, let us not only celebrate Purim, but also the miracles that we experience daily, and through which we are able to survive in all sorts of predicaments. A Freilchen Purim to all. Chag Purim v'Sameach.